chopped off and buried in the grasping. She'd need help with this part, she decided. Considerable help. However much she wanted to put her back into this project, get her hands into it, she couldn't possibly clear and hack, slash and burn, and redesign on her own. The budget would have to include a landscaping crew. She noted down the need to study old photographs of the gardens, to buy some books on landscaping to educate herself, and to contact local landscapers for bids. Standing, she scanned the ruined lawns, the sagging fences, the sad old barn that stood soot-gray and scarred from weather. There had been chickens once, or so she'd been told, a couple of pretty horses, tidy fields of crops, a small, thriving grove of fruit trees. She wanted to believe, maybe needed to believe, she could bring all that back, that by the next spring, and all the springs after, she could stand here and look at all the budding, the blooming, the business of what had been her grandmother's, of what was now hers. She saw how it was, and how it once had been, through her own Arctic blue eyes, shaded by the bill of a rock-the-house ball cap. Her hair, more honey than gold dust, threaded through the back of the cap in a long, messy tail. She wore a thick, hooded sweatshirt over strong shoulders and a long torso, faded jeans over long legs, and boots she'd bought years before for a hiking trip through the Blue Ridge Mountains, the same mountains that rolled up against the sky now. Years ago, she thought. The last time she'd come east, come here, and when, she supposed, the seeds for what she would do now had been planted. Didn't that make the last 4, or was it 5, years of neglect at least partially her doing? She could have pushed sooner, could have demanded. She could have done something. Doing it now, she reminded herself. She wouldn't regret the delay, any more than she would regret the manipulation and bitter arguments she'd used to force her mother to sign over the property. Yours now, Cilla, she told herself. Don't screw it up. She turned, braced herself, then made her way through the high grass and brambles to the old farmhouse where Janet Hardy had hosted sparkling parties, or had escaped to between roles, and where in 1973, on another steamy summer night, she took her own life. So claimed the legend. There were ghosts. Sensing them was nearly as exhausting as evaluating the ramshackle 3 stories, facing the grime, the dust, the disheartening disrepair. Ghosts, Cilla supposed, had kept the vandalism and squatting to a minimum. Legends, she thought, had their uses. She'd had the electricity turned back on, and had brought plenty of light bulbs along with what she hoped would be enough cleaning supplies to get her started. She'd applied for her permits and researched local contractors. Now, it was time to start something. Lining up her priorities, she tackled the first of the 4 bathrooms that hadn't seen a scrub brush in the last 6 years. And she suspected the last tenants hadn't bothered overmuch with such niceties during their stint. Could be more disgusting, she muttered as she scraped and scrubbed. Could be snakes and rats, and God, shut up. You're asking for them. After 2 sweaty hours and emptying countless buckets of filthy water, she thought she could risk using the facilities without being inoculated first. Chugging bottled water, she headed down the back stairs to have a whack at the big farmhouse kitchen next, and eyeing the baby blue on white laminate on the stubby counters, she wondered whose idea that update had been, and why they'd assumed it would suit the marvelous old O'Keefe and Merritt range and cold spot refrigerator. Aesthetically, the room was over the line of hideous, but sanitary had to take precedence. She braced the back door open for ventilation, tugged rubber gloves back on, and very gingerly opened the oven door. Oh, crap. While the best part of a can of oven cleaner went to work, she tackled the oven racks, the burners, the stovetop and hood. A photograph flitted through her memory. Janet, a frilly apron over a wasp-waisted dress, sunlight hair pulled back in a sassy tail, stirring something in a big pot on the stove, smiling at the camera while her 2 children looked on adoringly. Publicity shoot, Cilla remembered, for one of the women's magazines, Redbook or McCall's. The old farmhouse stove with its center grill had sparkled like new hope. It would again, she vowed. One day, she'd stir a pot on that same stove with probably